Beginning. The knock that shouldn't have happened. The first knock came just after midnight, echoing through the thin metal walls of my outpost cabin. Out here, on the barren ice plains of Verith 9, there shouldn't have been anyone. Not for hundreds of kilometers. My communication console had been silent for days. No distress calls, no patrols, no life readings. I was alone. Or at least I thought I was. The second knock came harder, sharper. Froze, pulse racing. I grabbed my phase rifle from the wall mount and approached the door cautiously. Outside, the icy wind howled like a living thing, tearing through the endless night. Through the small viewport, I saw something move. A shape in the snowstorm, tall, cloaked, glowing faintly blue under the flickering floodlight. The voice that followed wasn't transmitted or amplified. It was just a whisper through the metal door, but somehow I heard it inside my head. Ethan Cole, open the door. My finger trembled over the trigger. No one knew my name here. The mission was classified. The coordinates were sealed. Yet, whoever stood outside the door had spoken my name as if it was something sacred, something they had known forever. Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door. The cold hit me first, a biting slap of frozen air, but it wasn't what stole my breath. It was the woman standing there. She was tall, almost 7 feet, with pale silver skin that shimmered under the outpost light. Her armor was scorched, cracked, marked with strange sigils. Beneath the damage I recognized it, the crest of the Veari Dominion, one of the most powerful alien empires in the galaxy. But her eyes. Those eyes were not Veari. They were deep violet, like the last light of a dying star. You shouldn't be here, I said, aiming my weapon at her. She didn't flinch. Instead, she stepped closer, her voice low, melodic. And yet, you opened the door. Just like I remembered. Middle. The woman with a memory that shouldn't exist. I didn't sleep that night. Not after letting her in. She introduced herself as Saren Kael'thara, a Veari general, once the most feared warrior in the Dominion. Her name alone had appeared in hundreds of military reports, each one describing impossible victories. Entire fleets had fallen at her command. But now she was here, half frozen, wounded, and exhausted. She collapsed not long after entering, her body shaking violently. I caught her before she hit the floor, noticing the dark fluid seeping from a deep cut along her ribs. It wasn't blood, not in the human sense. It glowed faintly, pulsing with energy. My medic training kicked in. I laid her on the cot and activated the emergency scanner. It was hard to believe I was treating someone whose face had appeared on Galactic wanted lists. When the scanner finished, the results made no sense. Her body was rejecting nanites. Alien tissue degradation, severe. She was dying. What happened to you? I asked, applying a sealant patch to her wound. She looked up weakly, her eyes locking with mine. They betrayed me. The Dominion, my own people. She coughed, shuddering. They said I grew too close to a human, that I'd broken the code. They took everything from me. I hesitated. A human. She nodded. A man who saved my life once. Long ago. His name was. She stopped, her breath hitching. Then her eyes softened. Ethan. The name hit me like an electric charge. That's my name. Her lips curved faintly, as if she already knew that. Yes, she whispered. You always said it sounded like the wind. Soft, fleeting, human. Backed away. What are you talking about? We've never met. Saren sat up despite the pain, her violet eyes glowing brighter. Not in this life, she said. But somewhere, across the stars, in another age, you did. I wanted to laugh it off, call it delirium. But then she showed me the pendant around her neck, an old Earth insignia, corroded and bent, yet unmistakable. It bore the emblem of the United Terran Command, the same insignia as mine. "Where did you get that?" I demanded. "You gave it to me," she said softly, "before you died." The flashback of a memory not my own. Over the next few hours, she drifted in and out of consciousness, whispering fragments of something impossible. A war fought centuries ago. A human pilot who'd crashed on a Veari world. A connection that shouldn't have existed, between enemies, between species. Each time she spoke, her voice carried emotions that didn't feel like hers alone. I started remembering. Not images exactly, but feelings, the sound of her laughter, the weight of her hand in mine, a promise made beneath a foreign sky. Could reincarnation exist between worlds? Between human and alien? The thought was insane. Yet as she looked at me, there was no mistaking the recognition in her gaze. "You saved me once," she murmured. "Now it's my turn." The Dominion arrives. By morning, the scanners picked up approaching vessels, 3 Dominion warships entering Veritha's orbit. My heart sank. They'd found her. Saren stood by the viewport, her armor repaired, her posture proud again. "They're here for me," she said quietly. "And they won't leave without blood." I clenched my fists. "You can't fight them in your condition." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "Then I'll need a human's help." For the first time since I'd met her, I saw something vulnerable beneath that warrior's facade. Fear, maybe even regret. She wasn't just a fugitive general. She was someone who had lost everything. "What happens if they take you?" I asked. She turned to me, her eyes bright and unyielding. "They'll erase me. Mind, memory, everything that made me, me." "Then we won't let them," I said, surprising even myself. Saren looked at me for a long time before she stepped closer. Close enough that I could see the faint glow of her pulse beneath her skin. "You sound like him," she whispered. "Like the man who once promised the same thing." The final stand. The Dominion ships landed just before dawn, cutting through the mist with blinding white engines. Drones descended first, sleek, black and silent. I grabbed my rifle. Saren took her plasma blade. "You can't win this," I said. "They'll outnumber us 100 to 1. Then we'll make them remember us," she replied. The battle was chaos. Flashes of light, the ground shaking under explosions. I covered her flank while she tore through the drones with fluid, brutal grace. Every strike she made was precise, almost poetic. I'd never seen anyone move like that. But as more troops poured in, we were pushed back to the outpost. Smoke and dust filled the air. Saren took a hit, her armor sparking. She stumbled, and I caught her before she fell. "Leave me," she gasped. "Not a chance." I dragged her to the main console and overloaded the power core. "This will blow the entire station," I said. "It'll take their dropships with it." She looked at me, then shook her head. "You'll die too." "Maybe. But I think I already did once." For the first time she smiled. A real smile. "Then we end it together." The Dominion commander's voice echoed over the comm. "Surrender the traitor, and the human may live." Saren stood tall, blood, if you could call it that, dripping from her arm. "Tell them," she said, "that I found what they could never understand." I pressed the final command. The core began to pulse violently. Energy built until the air itself screamed. In those last seconds, Saren turned to me. "Ethan, if the stars ever give us another life, I'll find you," I said. "Every time."